Okay, so we should now be live. So, hi everyone that is watching live or on playback. My name's Paul from Refocus Coaching. I help dads in leadership and business to improve their health, improve their energy and focus, and lose body fat in a sustainable way through nutritional coaching and mindset coaching. And these talks are ongoing. And today I'm joined by Nathan. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Nathan Waldron. I'm 50% of a directorship of Evergreen Financial Planning with my colleague Ryan. I've been in the financial industry now for every time I'm saying it, it's getting worse and worse. 18 years. Yeah, so every time I say these numbers, it's going higher. It's getting realizing how old I'm actually getting. And I really do enjoy it every year, every time. It's something really exciting. So it's something that I really enjoy. And yeah, I just love to have a chat with you today around everything in financial advice and about being a dad as well.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for joining me today. So if you are watching live, give us a thumbs up and say hi. If you've got any questions or comments, then drop those in and we'll try and pick up on those through the chat. And even if you're watching back later, then, give us a thumbs up and let us know what you thought of the chat. So yeah, thanks for joining me today, Nathan. And these chats really are all about talking to dads who are in leadership positions or in business or helping others in some way, and then how they sort of manage their energy and their focus and their time and their health whilst juggling all that stuff, because obviously business is hard and then raising a family is hard as well. So when you put them together, I don't know how we all do it sometimes. So I really like talking to people that are doing it, so that we can sort of dig into maybe things that might have gone wrong, things that you've worked on, and so on and so forth. So kind of on that note, are there areas in your sort of work and life in sort of health and managing your health and your well-being that you've struggled with, maybe, or the areas that you specifically worked on?
I think one of the most important things I've realized over the years, you think that you get all these answers, these answers, you're taking everything all in. The actual answer sometimes, or most of the time, I found is actually inside, and you start from the inside out. And that is basically really focusing on what makes you feel good about yourself, what makes your body run well. How do you want to feel every single day? How do you want to feel in the future? So I've really focused on looking at that now. I really focus a lot around my fitness and keeping well. Like I'm not saying I'm going out and sprinting to try to go for the Olympics next week or anything like that. I'm again, here's the age thing, I'm past that. But I do value that. And when I was younger, I always used to focus on, I always do the gym. But when I was younger, as you are going through the teenage years, I just wanted to do weights. Weights was the most important thing, and that was it. And as I've got older, I've realized that fitness is all shapes and sizes. It's all parts of cardio. It's parts of different exercises, different classes as well. So what I do is try and fit that in around everything that I'm doing. Now, sometimes that might just be a 15-minute session. It might just be a walk. It might just be a little sprint up the stairs to go get my jacket. It's everything. It's just something that you can just play a game with throughout the day. But as long as you keep it moving, I think that's something that's really key. One of the biggest things I've realized with it as well is everybody has these days with everything that we do, we always think, brain thinks, do I need to do that today? Should I? I'm a bit tired. However, I've never not once done something and then felt afterwards that, oh my gosh, that was terrible. Didn't want to do it at all. So I always try and, I'm going to say something, if I'm going to the gym or going to do that run or a walk or whatever that may be, try and get my mindset to think, okay, Nath, you might be a bit tired, you might be a bit stressed, pushed for time, but imagine how you'll feel afterwards. You never feel terrible afterwards. You're always really glad that you've done it. That gives me enough push to actually go and do that. And every single time you do feel better, you feel that sense of pride for yourself, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. And do you think, has that taken a bit of work on your part to do that? Have you had moments in the past where you would have talked yourself out of it? And how did you make that change?
Yeah, it's excuses for everything, isn't it? Your mind is a clever instrument. It will make excuses for everything. However, You know, sometimes when I used to choose a piece of cake over going to the gym, it's you've had your cake and then that's it. It's like now you don't feel great about it. But when I go to the gym and I feel better, and when I'm running around with kids and I'm not panting, and that it just you feel it's something gives you a benefit rather than taking a benefit away from you. So yes, it's something that I have focused on, but I think it's something that we can all do, because it's not something where I'm saying, oh, you've got to go on a 6-month learning course, you've got to do this, you've got to read 10 books. It's something that you can just have a little conversation in your mind every single day around it and go, I'm going to do it and see how I feel. And after a while, you will get those blockers, because we all do. We all feel tired. We're all people. But if you can just ask yourself that question, how am I going to feel afterwards? Actually, I know I'm going to feel great, because the last 3, 4, 5, 10 times before I did afterwards. Let's just do it then. Let's just adapt it a bit if I'm really tired. Let's just do something. And that will be the conversation that you can have. You don't need to read a million books around that.
Yeah. No, it's a really good point. And yeah, I guess a lot of people will talk about kind of willpower and things like that, won't they? And I think you have to exercise that muscle, i.e. the one that has that process to make you go and do something. And I think, like you said a bit earlier, you don't have to commit to a lot, really. You could just say to yourself, well, I'm just going to have a 15-minute walk, a brisk walk. And, that in itself is enough to give you those endorphins, to give you that bit of a lift, to get a bit of clarity, to have a break maybe from things, and just to move your body and get your heart beating a bit. You're still going to get some of those benefits from it. So I think, it's really important to try and get that mindset right. And, it's kudos to you for having that inbuilt kind of protection and that mechanism that's sort of getting you there,
Yeah, it's just maybe I just like talking to myself, or maybe that's it. I just say maybe that's what it is. I just like having those conversations. But I think it's great, because it shows as well. It those conversations in your mind. It when you do something and you've done it, and you've almost like talked yourself out of it, and then you do it. It just shows, actually, no matter where you are, what you're going through, how amazing you are. Do you see what I mean? So you can look at that. You could be going through anything, and you just you have that conversation in your own mind, and you do it. Then you've done it, and it doesn't matter what's gone on in that moment of time. You've actually done it, so you've achieved something. You've not given up. You've moved forward internally, and that again just gives you a bit more power, because in your mind, your mind starts to think, okay, I can do it. It's not as bad as I actually thought. I can walk up those steps. I can walk to the shop. And there was one thing actually I like. It was when I used to speak about this, is about living in the moment and the now. And I think it was about 5 years ago, I spoke to someone. He said something which was really cool to me. He said, "Nathan, say now." I said now. He said, "Were you worried at that point?" I was like, "Well, no." And he said, "Say it again." I said, "Now." At that point, every single time, it was like, at that moment in the now, there's no stress, there's no worry, and that's where we need to live, in the present. So rather than trying to convince yourself not to do something and stress it, just go with the flow, and think positively, and that really does help as well.
Yeah. And the reward's instant as well, isn't it? And far reaching. It's not just, like you said, it's not just that physical reward, it's that emotional, psychological reward, isn't it? To say, well, actually, I've well done me. I've gone and done something when I didn't really want to, and I could have easily talked myself out of it. So that's a big boost. And again, like you said, if you relate that to, I don't know, let's say you've got a really difficult problem to solve in your work, you don't give up on that, do you? You put the time in and you try to figure it out. So I think you have to apply that same kind of attitude and that same kind of determination to doing something physical.
Absolutely.
There's huge benefits from it.
Absolutely. And it reduces stress. You can approach things better.
Yeah.
I think I owe it to my family as well, to try and to be healthy. Now, we can all get ill, of course we can. But if I can look back and I've tried to be healthy and I've done everything I possibly can, and I can't do any more than that, So I think I owe it to them to be the best version of myself, externally and internally as well.
Yeah, that's huge. And this is the conversation I have with all my clients, because I work with just with dads mainly. And I think if you're not healthy and if your body's not able to work at its best, how can you be? You can't possibly be the best version of you for your kids and your family. And it shows a bit of respect as well. If you have to show some self-respect and try and develop yourself and be the best you can be yourself, because that is then what a great leader is, isn't it? You know, you stand up in front of those kids and you demonstrate to them that you're interested in your health, you want to be stronger, fitter, faster, you want to stay away from being ill, and you genuinely want to look after yourself, because then you're there and you're present and you've got energy and you're ready. And I think that's a big part for me of you know, the whole health picture is have a healthy body that promotes a healthy mind, have healthy attitudes and mindset, which then helps you to improve your body. And there's a big circle, and all of this can come together. So yeah, it's a big one for me, I think, is be that leader, be that dad, be that man that you know your family want. And you know, they're not necessarily going to come and tell you that they want it, but they'll connect to it. They'll know, they'll feel it, they'll see it.
I hope so. Yeah,
100% they see it. Yeah, 100% they see it. No doubt about it.
That's it.
And you know, and I speak. There's on occasions I speak to guys who feel a sense of embarrassment in front of their kids, or they feel like their kids are embarrassed of them. Now, their kids won't necessarily say that to them, but it's still a feeling you can get in yourself, isn't it? So if you go the other way and you look after your health and you try and you feel fitter and stronger and better within yourself, even if it's just a little bit more than where you were before, then everything, this changes, and that whole feeling just changes, I think. And you know, you can gain that confidence and that self-respect, and then you just look like a different man as well.
Yeah, I think on that as well, Paul. I think all children get a bit embarrassed of the parents. I've realised that I used to think I was super cool. Well, I still think I am.
You are. I
think I am, but I'm not. I'm not to these kids, Paul. I'm not to these kids. I used to think I was super cool. Even my daughter's like, "Dad, don't kiss me. Don't kiss me now. You can't kiss me." And I was like, "Wow." So okay. So I think all kids go through that sense of embarrassment with the parents, but I think it's important that, as you say, you know, I want to just be a role model for them. Now, on the flip side of that, you might not like this, but I do like cake. Okay, so I'm not like someone who, right, you have to eat the broccoli and this and all this. You know, I think life is for living and enjoying as well.
Yeah.
But that's more turned to like a reward and for doing these things, and it's not something where, because I could easily, and I'll be honest with you, I love cake that much, I could easily just eat it for breakfast, lunch and dinner, feel absolutely fine, it wouldn't be much good. So this is why I have to be quite controlled. But I think now it's a bit of more of a reward with things. So again, when you can have that treat, you can have that takeaway or whatever it is, you feel that you've earned it, it's a reward for you. So that's another thing which keeps you on track, is that you don't always have to be consistently running. It's hurting you. You've got to eat, drink water and eat kale all day. You can still have those treats as well, and that's what will keep you going, because nobody's going to survive on water and kale.
No. There has to be some balance, doesn't there? And like you said, you have to be able to enjoy yourself as well. And I think it's really important that you have that ability to do that when you want to as well. So, I think ideally, I mean, when I'm working with people, I don't talk about good or bad food or healthy or unhealthy food. All food is just food. And for me, it's about a balance in terms of how it's going to support your health, how it's going to support your activities, what it's going to do for your brain function, what it's going to do for your body, and then just trying to lean a little bit more to the optimal side than the suboptimal side most of the time. So I go with a sort of 80-20, 75-25% rule. And that means then you can still enjoy anything you want pretty much. But, you do it mindfully, you do it with a bit of intention, and you do it in a way that's going to support a healthy mind and body.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's a lesson again for the kids, isn't it? Because, we're talking about showing up as a leader in front of them, but that you do that in a sense of how you approach your nutrition as well, don't you? You do that in a sense of how you talk about it. You do that in a sense of how you act when you're, around foods, and especially treat foods and things like that. And I'm no expert in terms of how to feed children and how to what language to use around them, because in every household it's going to be unique to that household, isn't it? But I try and sort of create that sense of balance again, where you can have those things, if you like. It's a fascinating area which I've not really gotten into too far, but there's some great experts out there that actually talk about helping children understand how to eat food and how to enjoy food and what it sort of means for them as well. So it's interesting, and I think you can certainly lead from that front, and you need to try and have a bit of a healthy mindset around it, rather than worrying too much about individual foods and individual instances. Is just have an overall healthy, positive mindset about how you're feeding your body. Exactly.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, good stuff. So I kind of talk to my clients about I've got 4 pillars that I talk to my clients about. So one of those is nutrition, one of those is movement, and which includes exercise and walking and just moving around. One of them is recovery, so sleep and relaxation, and then the other one is your mind, is kind of how you plan, how you organize, what your attitude is to approaching all those things. So you've obviously got, you've looked in on your nutrition, you've looked in on your exercise, and you've got those sort of things dialed in. Have you done any work on sleep or anything like that as well?
Okay, yeah. So sleep for me was never an issue, but I used to think I was almost like some kind of machine who didn't need much sleep. So I know that, and people are going to shout at me for this as well, that I wasn't getting enough sleep at all. So I was doing a lot, because I do like to fit a lot of things in, but I wasn't getting enough sleep. Sometimes I would be getting 3 hours sleep, and it's just not enough. I convinced myself that my body's fine, it's adjusted to these hours sleep, everybody's different. And again, you're finding those excuses to justify almost bad habits. I've done a lot of reading into sleep and what actually happens in your sleep, and I just thought you slept, and I didn't. That's what you just think. So, I'm tired, I sleep. But the amount of amazing things that happens inside of your body, inside of your brain, what it does for the following day, it's unbelievable. And what I do try and do now, sometimes, not every day, because I haven't got the time, but I've realized, rather than just having a coffee, if I can just have a 15-minute quick power nap, that is more potent than 2-3 cups of coffee. If I'm feeling a bit tired, if I've got a bit of brain fog, if I'm just a bit sluggish in relation to something, that little power nap in the afternoon can just really, really help, and it's fantastic. But I do now, what I really focus on is going to bed roughly the same time. And again, I'm not regiment, Paul. I'm not like, oh my gosh, it's 9:58 p.m. I've got to go to sleep and fall asleep. I'm not doing that. So I try and go to bed on a regular, even the weekends, try and keep that consistent throughout. I do go out as well. I do have a life. So, I do stuff, but I just say I try to be regular. The bedroom, again, try and keep it cool. All these little things that I didn't realize. I used to think, what kind of nonsense is this? It actually makes sense, and I've been getting a lot more better sleep with that. Not common sense things, not sleeping, not drinking too much close to sleep as well, because again, third time I'm going to mention it, I'm getting older, so getting it up more times in the night. But that sleep now, I am focusing. Is it as good as I want it to be? I do get good deep sleep, but I probably need to focus on getting longer. I do need to be focused on at least getting to a good 6 hours. I know people say, Nathan, no, you need 8 hours. I want to get to 6 and then push it up to the 8 hours. Definitely. That's around sleep. Did you want to speak about them, like mind and planning, or carry on with the sleep as well?
Yeah, well, no, I mean, it's interesting to hear, because everyone has a different approach when it comes to sleep, and it's great that you've done a bit of reading and been a bit proactive about it. And for me, one of the sort of key aspects really is to create a solid cycle if you can, because that's how our body best responds. Is part of, obviously everyone's heard of the circadian rhythm, but if you can actually create a rhythm in terms of going to sleep roughly the same time, getting up roughly the same time every day, then you get the best benefits from that in terms of the quality and what happens in your sleep. So it's really worth working on. And I think when we're younger, when you sort of alluded to this, is that we sort of just power through. We're pretty indestructible. We've got good energy and resilience, and we'll hit some
back in the day.
Yeah. But then also we might, on a weekend, we think, well, we'll just catch up on your sleep. And your body doesn't really work like that. And I don't know whether anyone's listening or whether you've experienced it, but on those occasions where you do have, maybe you sleep 6 hours Monday to Friday, and then Saturday night you have an 8 or a 10-hour sleep. When you actually get up and get moving, you don't actually feel that much better. Sometimes you can feel a bit sluggish, and I just, and that's because we, as an animal, we work on that cycle, and it's better if it's fixed. If it's a fixed cycle all the time and it's dependable, and all your systems know what's coming, your whole body just works better. Same applies with food in a sense as well, and exercise. If you're sort of timed, then your body gets used to it and everything seems to be a bit more efficient. So yeah, it's fascinating. I always like talking to people about their sleep routines and their habits, because obviously, the literature says between 7 to 9 hours sleep as an adult, and and in reality, you're never going to, especially with a family and things going on in business and things going on, you're never going to necessarily get that every time.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, it does. But so the best you can do really is try to have a bit of a system, a bit of a routine, and do your best, basically. And again, it's similar to the food thing. I think if you can be optimal more often than not with that routine, then that's going to be beneficial as well in the long run. So it's a fascinating topic, that one. And what about mindset things and sort of organization and how you plan, and how does this thing work?
Gosh, so that's over years of mistakes and learning, and stresses and ups and downs, you kind of realize what is good and what is bad over time. And I think my job's fantastic because I speak to thousands of people. And, I see great things, I see not so great things, unfortunately. And that's also the building up my knowledge base in my mind around life as a whole, as well, across different kinds of scenarios, ages, and everything along those lines. And one of the biggest things that always comes out is around planning. Because, if you don't put time to plan for certain things, you'll either be rushing around and feeling stressed or anxious, which then brings on other issues as well. You'd be thinking that you don't achieve anything because you're just running around with no set goals or anything like that as well, and you feel almost a sense of underachievement because you're not got nothing to go for. You're just going from one to the next without really knowing or planning how to get onto different levels. So what I've really focused on is planning and how to get to these next points that I want to get to. So I've got a chart of what I want to do. Many things. It's not like I used to have these, and it's not a bad thing. You want to have huge astronomical goals, but my goal will be here. I'll be here, and my goal is off the chart, kind of. There's nothing in between. So I'm trying to climb it up to this. Oh my gosh, but I'm not, rewarding yourself, and that's why sometimes you can fall off on things, because you look up and you think, oh my gosh, it's so far away. I'm planning for 50 years ahead. Well, what else am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to be doing? I've really focused on breaking down everything now and giving myself small wins, small rewards, something nice to reach. So bring that in with the family. What I also used to do as well, again, this is me maybe just thinking I'm not much of a speaker, as I speak a lot more with my family and share my things. I used to think, gosh, I need to take everything on and just do it, and not tell anybody. That's, if I can say this now, it's probably one of the worst things that anybody can do. Anybody can do, dad, mom, brothers, anybody, doesn't matter who you are, because you're taking on all this responsibility for absolutely no reason. And it's amazing to share what you're planning, because then people will help you with your plans, or keep you guided on your plans, or give you inspiration for your plans. And then, okay, if you're falling off or you're struggling, there's someone there to help you again. So it's good to share those ideas. That's really important. You don't need to take all the responsibility on by yourself. And sometimes you just need to speak to someone, you just need to speak. And that's one thing I used to really, really struggle with. is I didn't think that you needed to speak. I used to think, oh, I'm Nathan, I can just do this myself. I don't need to speak to anybody. And it hurts, it can hurt, you know. So it's I would always say really, really, when you're from a mindset point of view, you know, share your ideas, speak to people as well, and then you've almost got some accountability for yourself, and somebody else can help you with the accountability for what you want to do as well.
No, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
No, I agree with what you're saying. And I think as well, like you said, for your goals, when you've got a huge lofty goal all the way out there, you absolutely have to break it down into chunks, because otherwise you'll feel that you're never reaching it. Whereas if you can break it down into smaller chunks, like a week from now, a month from now, 6 months from now, this is where I want to be towards that big goal, then you start to feel like there's progress being made. You start to feel, and you can reward yourself, like you said. And then, to your point about speaking up, again, I think we learn that through experience and through failure, don't we? Sadly.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, it's absolutely better if you share. And even if you've just got someone amazing that you can this is a sounding board. They don't even have to talk to you, but just listen, so you can get it out, say it out loud and get it out, you know, because it's not the same as if it's just rattling around in here all the time. You're never going to solve all the problems that you've got on your own. So I think it's really important. And I love the point you make about becoming accountable then. And again, this is something I work with a lot of my dads with, is that when especially if they've got a health related goal, so it might be, you know, lose some weight, increase fitness, whatever the goal is, move a bit more. I like to get them to try and share it with their kids and obviously partners. But I always suggest a conversation with their children, even if they're 5 or, you know, 15, doesn't really matter what the age is. But when you tell those guys that you're going to do something and make a change, then you are very much accountable to them, because they're just going to ask you. They're going to say, well, I thought you were going to do this, start doing this thing. Where is it?
Yeah.
On,
yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, there's a great deal of power in sharing your goals, you know, or bits of your goals, your mini goals, whatever that may be, but share it with those guys, because they will definitely hold you accountable, and you'll do it for them as well. Whereas, like we said earlier, you could talk yourself out of something, especially if you've only shared it with yourself. But if you've told your children you're going to do a thing, then you're far more likely to do it.
Exactly. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I know that.
Yeah. Well, I think you've probably utilized that, haven't you, as well, by the sound of things? Because it's powerful. It's powerful. It totally works.
No, but do you know what it does as well? When you do that and you achieve it, and they see you achieve it, they see the joy, that gives them inspiration then to go, well, I'm going to set some goals. I'm going to do this. And they feel that they can achieve and do things as well. And you're spreading that sense of goals. And do you know what? As well, and I've done this, and even when I shared a goal with them and you failed, it's not that you failed, you just didn't make it this time. So that we're here at this moment, why am I a bit short? What should I do next time? How can we all work together to get to there now, because I'm not too far away? And then there's been times like that I've shared it, and then we've done it the second time, we've done it the third time, and then my son's done that with like his football and things like that. My daughter did it with a maths test, and it's just little things where that does help them and set up their future as well, because they see it happening. Because what I'm not doing, because we have failure. That's that. I think failure, it sounds crazy, is the most important part of learning. You have to fail so you can see where you're short and what you need to focus on. So when they see that, oh my gosh, Dad's done some great things, but then sometimes he hasn't reached a goal and he's shared it with us, and we've worked on it together. That's so powerful, and it brings everybody together, and they see that everything that you're doing for them. Because that was another thing, being a parent, if I'm honest, really scared me, was, are my children going to realize what I'm trying to do for them? I want to be. I want to have that loving, connecting relationship to them. And people used to say, "Oh, you have to choose one or the other. You can either go to work or be." That was it. And I was like, "No, absolutely not. No. You can work and still have a beautiful connection, but you have to find out how you can bring everybody in, and that is just sharing it." And thankfully, I think they start to see what I'm trying to do, and they understand that, and they know what I do. So I think that's really important, because that was one thing becoming a parent that really scared me, really did.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I think it helps them to build that resilience to see someone that they look up to going through failure and going
Yeah,
again. You know, that it helps them to sort of go, oh, okay, it's okay to fall and fail, and
of course it
but
is. Yeah,
because you can go again and you can get
yeah,
support, you can get help, and so you know that, and it's back to what we were talking about earlier about showing up as that leader, isn't it? It's again,
yeah.
you know, a lot of professionals do it in the workplace. They'll have people they manage and they're constantly pulling them up and empowering people. And, you know, I think it's the same sort of thing that you could do with your family,
Mm.
and being, yeah, making it like a team effort, isn't it? To get through life.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, so they're all part of the journey. Everybody's, you know, on the same rocket ship almost, aren't they? So that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. So we've whizzed through the half an hour, which is fantastic. I'm going to ask you about sort of have you got like a set of daily non-negotiables that you adhere to, and that could be, you know, a physical set, a mental set, or, you know, what have you got some sort of
Yeah,
systems that you always ensure that you carry out?
without a shadow of a doubt. Okay, it's something really simple, and you might think, oh, it doesn't make it. I promise you, it really does. Is as soon as you get up, get your mindset to be positive, smile, read something positive, do something to start your day in a positive manner. Now that's not going to always mean, oh my gosh, every single day is going to be rosy and amazing. Of course it's not. You know, I'm a realistic person, but it conditions my mind. It'll do this for everybody to start on the right foot. It will start on the right foot, and that's what I do every single day. I always do something which is positive. I'll write a post and crack a smile. I try to laugh as much as possible. You know, I just try to do things which make me feel better. So if I'm better, I interact better. Everybody's better, you know, and I make other people feel better. So I think without a shadow of a doubt, even if it's not writing something or reading something, if you just get up and smile, then that's a good start, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. But always do something positive straight away. Just think, smile. Maybe not laugh in the morning in case you wake anyone up. Maybe just maybe not do that. Nathan says laugh. Yeah, everybody's like, Nathan, look what you've caused. You caused chaos. Then maybe don't do that. But maybe just just crack a smile. You know,
Yeah.
and read something positive. Definitely, that's. But I'll shut over that. I'll do that every single day.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I would encourage anyone who's watching to connect with you, or at least follow you, because your posts on LinkedIn there's a lot through the week that is very positive and uplifting. I really like reading your posts. They're really good.
That's good. Thanks for.
Yeah. So you're not only doing it for yourself, you're spreading it around for other people as well. Which
exactly.
Is,
sharing
which
is
really
caring.
cool.
Sharing is caring.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Cool. I'm going to have a quick look on the LinkedIn comments quickly and see if we've got any comments. I did see Mark mentioned earlier about using MyZone Monitor to keep him going back for more when he doesn't really feel like it. So yeah, that's a great shout.
Use it like the iWatch, because sometimes it does. I'm going to give away my sleeping patterns now. So at 8:30, it gives me a little start winding down. So yeah, and then sometimes if I haven't been if I'm in front of the computer too often, it'll say stand up, drink water. I'm like, all right, okay, just gives you that nudge to go and do something. Yeah.
My Apple Watch told me to get up just before you joined the live earlier, so I quickly walked around the room for a minute.
That's what I mean.
So it didn't
you
keep
just do it though, don't you? Yeah, you just do it, don't you?
Yeah,
It's like, why is that guy just watching on the spot? He's got an iWatch on. It's fine. It's the technology. What we do now. Let's embrace it.
Yeah, no, we absolutely should. Brilliant. Okay, cool. So if anyone wants to get in touch with you and connect with you after this, how would they go about getting in touch with you? What's the best?
The best way. All my contact details are on LinkedIn, which is there. Excellent. Thanks, Paul. Yeah. So feel free to message me on there. You can connect with me at any time. I'll always try and come back to people. If there's anything that you need, I'm always here as well.
Yeah, awesome. And I highly recommend that you do reach out and connect to Nathan, because like I said, his posts are generally really positive and uplifting. Whenever I read them, I'm compelled to comment, and then I walk away with a smile as well. So it's always a good interaction.
That's it. Got that smile. That's what it's about. Yeah. Keep smiling.
Yeah.
Keep smiling.
Perfect. Brilliant. All right. Well, really enjoyed the chat today. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me.
Thanks, Paul. Take care.
Cheers, Nathan. Thanks.
Bye, guys. Thank you.